She's not ignoring you because she stopped caring. She's watching to see what you'll do when she's gone, and what you do next decides whether she regrets losing you or forgets you forever. You're sitting there, staring at your phone again, scrolling through old messages, replaying the last thing she said. You keep wondering, should I text her? Should I call? Maybe if I just check in, she'll remember what we had, but she doesn't reply. Days go by, then weeks. And every time that silence hits, it's like she's proving that you meant less than you thought you did. If this is you, if you're stuck in that loop of overthinking, checking her story, waiting for some sign that she still cares, you're not alone. Every man who's ever given his heart away has felt that pull, that desperate urge to fix what's broken, even when you know it's not your job anymore. Maybe this feels familiar. You told yourself you'd stop reaching out, but every night your mind drifts back to her name on your screen. You want to believe she'll realize your worth. You want to believe she misses you too, but deep down, you can feel it, that you've already said enough, done enough, and given enough. Because the truth is, every time you chase her energy, you lose a little more of your own. And what hurts most isn't her silence. It's the emptiness that silence exposes inside you. But what if her silence isn't rejection? What if it's an opportunity, the exact moment that could make her see you differently, if you handle it the right way? What if the thing that finally makes her miss you is the thing you do next? Most men think that if they just show her how much they care, she'll finally understand what she lost. They think that reaching out, explaining themselves, or proving their loyalty will somehow make her see their value. But that's not how attraction works. The more you try to remind her of your worth, the more you tell her, without saying a word, that you've forgotten it yourself. You see, a man's power isn't in how much he chases, it's in how much he can stand still. The masculine frame is calm, grounded, and certain, especially when everything feels uncertain. When she pulls away, most guys panic. They break their own word, they reach out just to check in, they fold under the weight of missing her. And in that moment, she doesn't feel his love. She feels his loss of control. If this hits hard, it's because deep down, you know it's true. The reason silence hurts so much isn't because she's gone. It's because you've tied your sense of peace to her response. But masculine strength is built on separation, the ability to hold your ground when everything in you wants to break. Real men don't beg for validation. They lead with self-respect. They understand that space isn't punishment, it's power, because when you stop chasing, you stop proving, and when you stop proving, you start becoming. So don't text her, don't call her, don't look for her. Look for yourself, the man she once felt drawn to because he didn't need her to feel complete. The moment you return to that place of calm certainty is the moment she starts to feel the distance, not as freedom, but as loss. It's late. The room is quiet except for the soft hum of your phone screen lighting up your face. You scroll, not even knowing what you're looking for, maybe a sign, maybe a memory. Her last message still sits there, cold and final. You've read it 100 times, hoping it would sound different tonight. You start typing something, then delete it, then type again. Your chest feels tight, not from anger, not from heartbreak, but from the silence. That heavy, invisible silence that makes the world feel smaller. You check her story, knowing it'll hurt. She's out somewhere smiling, the kind of smile you used to think was for you. You toss your phone on the bed and stare at the ceiling. What happened? You ask yourself, how did something that felt so real turn into this emptiness? You replay the moments, the laughter, the late night talks, the way she looked at you when she thought you were different. And now, nothing. Just distance and questions that don't have answers. You think about reaching out, just one message, something simple, something to remind her you're still here. But then, a different thought cuts through the noise. Why am I always the one trying to remind her? You sit up. The silence feels different now. Not like rejection, but like space. A space you've been too afraid to stand in. For the first time, you realize this isn't about her anymore. It's about you, about who you become when you stop chasing what's already drifting away. You take a slow breath. The phone buzzes once, but you don't look, because tonight, for the first time, Your silence says more than any text ever could. Most men are taught that love is proven through effort, that if you just try harder, care more, and refuse to give up, she'll eventually see your worth. But that's the first lie. The truth is, love doesn't grow from pressure. It grows from presence. When you chase her to remind her of your value, you quietly tell her that your value depends on her attention. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. The second lie is believing that distance means disinterest. You see her silence and assume it's rejection. But silence is information. It tells you what words can't. It shows you whether she's capable of meeting you halfway. Most men mistake no contact for a game, but it's not a tactic, it's a mirror. It reveals who's grounded in peace and who's addicted to validation. If you can't handle the quiet, you are never leading with strength. The third lie is thinking your job is to make her feel something. It's not. Your job is to be something, steady, whole, unmoved. When a man stops chasing, it's not about manipulation, it's about alignment. You stop fighting for her attention and start fighting for your center again. That's the kind of energy that draws people. Not need, but gravity. When you stop chasing her, you stop losing yourself. Every message you don't send, every call you don't make, every moment you sit with your emotions instead of running from them, it's not weakness, it's discipline. It's you teaching yourself that your worth doesn't depend on her reaction. The moment you stop proving yourself to her is the moment she starts remembering who you were. And that's when the power quietly shifts back to you. The 1% Headman doesn't chase what walks away, he observes. He doesn't act from impulse, he acts from understanding. While most men crumble under the silence, he uses it as a mirror. He knows that distance doesn't define him, it reveals him. This is what he understands, that emotional control isn't suppression, it's strength. It's the ability to feel the pain without becoming it. He doesn't text her to be noticed. He doesn't call her to be chosen. He chooses himself first, every single time. While the average man reacts, the headman reflects. He asks himself better questions. What am I building? What kind of man am I becoming while she's gone? Because he knows that the energy you chase always runs, but the energy you embody always attracts. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. He doesn't prove his worth through words. He shows it through peace. His power isn't loud, it's quiet, consistent, and undeniable. He moves like a man who knows that walking away isn't losing something. It's making space for something better to meet him. He understands that silence is not weakness, it's signal. It tells the world he's grounded enough to let things fall away that don't align with him anymore, and that's why people feel his energy even when he says nothing. The 1% headman knows that love without self-respect isn't love, it's dependence, and he refuses to live that way, so he stands tall, stays centered, and lets time work in his favor, because while others break themselves trying to be seen, he becomes the kind of man who can't be ignored. There comes a night when the silence doesn't sting anymore. It just sits there, still and quiet, like a reflection of everything you've been avoiding. You look at your phone, but this time, you don't reach for it. You feel the urge rise, the familiar pull to check her story, to scroll through her name. But it passes, like a wave that finally breaks and drifts back into the sea. For the first time, you don't need to know what she's doing. You just notice what you're feeling. The ache, the loneliness, the emptiness. It's all still there, but something's shifted. You realize you've been trying to fill that space with her when it was always yours to fill. That's when it hits you. It was never about her reply. It was about your reaction. You stand up, walk to the mirror, and really look at yourself, not as the man who lost something, but as the man who's learning to let go. There's peace in that, a calm that doesn't come from winning her back, but from not needing to anymore. You start to see it clearly now. Her silence didn't break you. It revealed you. It showed you how far you drifted from your own center, how much of yourself you gave away just to feel chosen. And in that realization, you feel it, that steady pulse of confidence returning to your chest. The power you once thought she took was always yours. You take one last look at the phone, and this time, it's not a symbol of loss, it's freedom. You smile to yourself, not because she's coming back, but because you finally did. She wasn't waiting for another message, and she was waiting to feel your absence. And now she does, not because you chased, but because you finally stopped. The silence that once tore you apart became the space that rebuilt you. You didn't lose her. You found the man you were before you needed her. The peace, the focus, the quiet power, it's all back where it belongs. She may or may not return, but that's no longer the point, because the moment you stopped reaching for her was the moment you finally reached yourself.